So I am so glad that this video showed up on my For You page, and I'm going to show you why. But first, I want you to go listen to it, okay? Second, just know that even though I don't have power, I have been falling down the rabbit hole on what kind of frequencies it would take to make this pattern. Y'all ready for this? So by now, everybody is aware that the Schumann is doing this, right? And yesterday I put out a couple videos, and I even put out one showing you this is a signal. This is a repeating signal. Well, it is, and I'm going to show you exactly where it starts repeating. So this is actually the start of the signal, where that red line is right there. And as you can see, it goes along, and we have that dip. Right about where the dip is where the signal repeats, where it starts over. Now, the dip itself right there is interesting, and I'll show you why. Notice where the dip is on these other things. It's blatantly obvious on the frequency chart right there. Do you see it? It affects all of these different readings. But I also want you to notice on the frequencies where that has changed after this new pattern. See right here at the beginning, this is how it normally looks. Then we have that spot where you see the dip up there in the amplitude, and then you have this weird thing with the frequencies, and now they're super low, okay? Then you have that big old weird jolt right there when this thing dips. So this is how it looked at the filming of this video. This is where my last screenshot of it that I took. Now I want to show you something, because in dissecting these last night, I want to show you what I found that they correlate with. Are you guys ready? Because it's kind of crazy. They correlate with a ton of different frequencies. This is 22,000 hertz, 3,090 hertz. And if we start going down the different solfeggio frequencies, if you space these out, you can see where they're intersecting and making some of these patterns. See? 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 And I want you to look at some of the interesting circular waves in the middle. As we get lower, they get interesting. Just saying what I'm saying. This is 99, 88, 77, 66. Now the lowest the app I have goes to is 22, but look at how wide they get. They also get wide the bigger they go, but they get wide like this. So it's not just frequencies that this unique pattern is coinciding with. These are different analysis of frequencies and EFT, TFT, etc. on different parts of the body. And we're going to look at these two here on the bottom really closely. Look at that. I find that very interesting, how these frequencies are affecting the brain. Now, these are amplitude, not hertz, okay? But look at that. What about some of that? Look at that thing in the middle. Doesn't that look a little interesting? And that's a heart. That's a heart rate. But what I want you to look at is this right here. Look at the different waves and how they correlate with different areas of the body as this different stimulus is being applied, etc. And I also want you to look down here at the different parts of the brain that are affected, mainly in the back. Now, this is not on a 24-hour repeating scale. If you count really carefully, it's either 33 or 34 hours. Now, I'm interested to see this next 24 hours and how the pattern progresses and so on. And you all know I will totally keep you posted. But here's the other thing I want to point out, and this is going to take someone that has, power and a computer where they can see shit, because if y'all didn't know, I'm in Tulsa. We still don't have power. They're saying we're not going to have power. I'm not going to have power till fucking Saturday. I'm going to die in the heat, but I do. Now, it's going to take someone that has a lot more interesting equipment than I do, a lot more in-depth equipment than I do, to be able to pick apart each one of these lines and determine which frequency it is, what it is that is going sideways to make these interesting geometric patterns, and etc. But here's the thing. Unlike Independence Day, this signal is not coming in, it's going out. So unlike Independence Day, this is not for the public to really figure out. I'm sure that someone has turned something on and this is the cause of it. I'm sure that they were ramping it up last week, and this is why all of us felt so weird. Like, I'm almost positive at this point, someone turned some shit on. We all had way too similar symptoms that nobody could figure out. medical professional, etc. None of us could figure out, and none of the normal things were working. Now, what's even more interesting is that people that were not in the spiritual awakening, that are not woke, that are whatever you want to call it, they didn't feel this way. In fact, most of them felt like nothing was wrong. Maybe they were a little tired, but most of them felt like nothing was wrong. Those of us in the spiritual community, we had headaches, we had dizziness, we had insane vertigo. Vertigo is totally different than dizziness, y'all. We had stomach issues, we had heart issues, we had sleep issues, we had intense, insane dreams. Things like that across the board, okay? Because when I made those videos last week, a lot of you guys reached out to me. Well, let me tell you what. If you guys have not studied what frequencies can do to the body as far as healing and as far as a directed energy weapon, you should. Just a quick search of direct energy weapon will pull up all kinds of stuff. But here's one of the main things I want to point out to you, because a lot of you guys are like, well, that's only lasers, South Pole laser, and, you know, microwaves and particle beams. I want you to look at this thing right here. Look, sound beams, sound beams. I also want you to look at who all is fucking with this shit, just that we know of. Do you notice anything there? DARPA, the Air Force, the Pentagon, Naval Research Laboratories. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Now, look at that right there. These systems of missile defense are expected to come online no sooner than mid to late 2020s. It's 2023, y'all. Again, you cannot convince me that we're not sending a signal. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and I saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind repeatedly. Where are all the fucking DJs that have a grip on how to make these kind of frequencies and this kind of music? Y'all need to figure out what the fuck we're saying. I'm sure there has to be a code somewhere that coincides with the numbers of these frequencies. We need some code breakers. We need some of those of you guys that play Sudoku, that do logic puzzles, etc. We need to get our heads together so we know what the fuck is coming our way. I'm just saying what I'm saying, because they sure as shit are not being upfront about what's going on. And here's the thing, because some of you guys have said, oh, the poles are reversing. No, if the poles were reversing, none of our electronics would work, like for a long time, much less us be able to monitor the Schumann. Nothing is a coincidence, y'all. Nothing is a coincidence. You have all of these releases of UFOs, of documentation, of things about the South Pole, all of this shit in 1 week, and then this. What's coming? And why aren't they telling us? I'm just saying what I'm saying. Now, don't freak out, okay? Don't freak out. Because no matter what happens from this point on, panic is not going to help anyone. I live here in Tulsa and people are panicking because we don't have power, and they're hoarding gas, and they're hoarding, I don't know, weird shit, and they're clogging up the roads and everything else, and they're being dicks to each other. Don't panic, y'all. And I am going to say this as an artist and as a spiritual person. The Schumann right now is absolutely beautiful. It is breathtakingly beautiful. I have sat and just looked at it for a while. I know some of y'all are like, if you turn it sideways, you see this. Y'all, the human brain is trained and it strives to see faces and patterns and shapes and everything. It's the best part of divination. But do I think that this says, hey, we're summoning aliens? I mean, yes, but not because you can see little aliens in the sideways thing. The good part of me hopes that whatever is coming is good, is change, is a level up. The other part of me that's seen too many sci-fi movies knows that no matter if we're summoning the good, everybody's going to hear this. And the sci-fi nerd in me also knows that we are grossly not ready for this. Don't panic. Just pay attention. Just saying what I'm saying.